We started sometime in 2008 early when Jimmy Wales kind of in that time was looking to launch Wiki Search. So we also started someone on similar lines as a B2C portal which was looking into social search. So first 2 years it remained like that. We couldn't really get any kind of attraction or get with the product with no funding, being bootstrapped, friends and family only. So and then 2009 and late 2008 recession. So 2009 we pivoted and then switched to enterprise model. I have been in the industry for around more than 10 years at that time in the space of knowledge management, collaboration, consulting for companies like Satyam, NIIT and Crane Software, which is into analytics. So my entire background has been in the space of KM primarily. So I've dealt with all the legacy software of content management, document management, etc. So 2009 we switched to the enterprise and started pitching the beta product to certain customers, and within a few months we were able to get 2 or 3 interested customers, beta customers, and then we started working with them. Market was still very difficult for us because without having funding and stuff like that, going abroad where your major market is, even till today we are India specific, we have not really gone abroad, but the market largely exists there. India is still much difficult market for these kind of products and paradigms. So 2009, educating the customer itself was the biggest challenge. So those early adopters were the ones who knew that there is a certain bit of innovation required in this area and were ready to experiment with a startup product, were the ones we got initially. And then we worked around a couple of years with them to fine tune our offering, get the product market fit kind of stuff. And around 2011 is when we get Standard Chartered Bank as one of our largest customers. So part of the pivoting was the product to the enterprise. The other part was to pivot and focus only on the large enterprise. We realized we were like confused whether to go SaaS. SaaS wave is like big, this, that, or I said that in India, SaaS and large enterprise is not going to go because the economics doesn't work for the large enterprise first of all. And they're in India specifically, they are very security conscious. And when you say something like knowledge management, collaboration, enterprise 2.0, all your critical information with us, stuff like that. No, nowhere on the cloud. We want it on premise. So that's how our evolution happened, and today we are totally focused on large enterprise, specifically BFSI segment, and we are doing decently well, though our customer acquisition rates are not that high because the sales cycles are too long. And that's where we sell, and we have customers like Standard Chartered Bank, Aditya Birla Group, and another few big brands which we are going to start pilot with very recently, and besides a lot of other small customers. I'll tend to agree and disagree both with them. I agree that it's very difficult. India is a difficult market. But this I would have said clearly that India is maybe not the right market way back in 2009 and 10. But in the last 1 year I've seen increased interest among especially the large enterprises in this space, because the pain because of the disparate and silos informations and information overload increasing, people not being able to manage information and knowledge for their people, that pain is now growing rapidly and is actually hindering the competitive advantage or the competitiveness of an organization. So that part is now I see is increasingly growing. People are open to new innovative products. A lot of CIOs I meet, they keep on coming back with the request, as I am also part of some NASSCOM initiatives and other initiatives, to ask for, we want to see innovative startups in different space. So they are opening up now. See, it's the DNA, how it has been set up in India and all. Most of the companies evolved from a very controlled kind of environments, family-run businesses, then getting into large corporates. MNCs coming in is still okay, but large enterprise, when you're looking at a scale of thousands of users or maybe up to 1 lakh users also at times, it does get a bit bureaucratic because multiple people have to approve it, they have to get user acceptance, then there are security challenges, especially in BFSI. So a new product coming in, the risk perception of a startup is very high. So just to agree to buy from a startup needs a lot of people to say yes to it before a company decides to release the purchase order. So it actually, especially in that for a large enterprise and then for a startup product, it gets even lengthier. Because nobody wants to take that risk. It's not like people are CIOs have not lost their job for buying from Microsoft or SAP even if it doesn't work. But if you lose by taking a startup product, then that risk of failure, and for the CIO the risk is much higher. Actually, the honeymoon period is over. Now it's in the trough of disillusionment, rather, where now people are wondering that even after having that, our problems are still not solved. Because if you look at the entire model of most of the social enterprise paradigm, the focus was not on removing the clutter, but rather it was adding to create more clutter. The world anyway had billions and trillions of web pages when the Toots barrage came and kind of swarmed us with that. So we are actually ending up creating a lot of information. It's not that a lot of more knowledge is getting produced, it's duplicates getting produced. The same article gets published on maybe thousands of sites and then thousands of tweets and retweets of the same. So what matters ultimately is still the Pareto, right? 20% is what really matters, 80% is still noise. So a lot of these products were not really filtering and getting the signal out of the noise, but rather increasing the noise. And after using it and trying it for some time, people have realized. So you'll see that the churn rates or the retention problem for SaaS products in this space is a big problem. People might say I have thousands of customers, but you really go and dig deep, you'll find how many are paying and repaying. So especially in this particular segment, my belief is that it typically will work for large enterprise. SaaS models, especially in India with the kind of marketing budgets we have and the reach we have, might not make economic sense. That's one of the reasons why we are still holding on to our SaaS version, because we still want to think that what will work in a SaaS model is something where an individual gets value, not as a group. And it's all about collaboration, right? Social and all. So till you get that kind of traction onto the platform, the value is not delivered. See, if you look at the small and medium enterprise, if a lock-in is not there, obviously the stickiness is not going to be there. People will try different products till they find and there is nothing like an ideal utopian product till date. Because something or the else might be missing. So the churn rates typically, that's the reason in SaaS, are very high. But when you look at large enterprises and you go on an on-premise model, they make significant investments, so stickiness automatically comes. Nobody is gonna throw you out after a few months. They will at least be with you and try it out over a couple of years, and then if they are not happy, then it's a different thing, you fail to deliver. But if you deliver, they stick, and they stick for long. That's the enterprise model and the beauty of it. I think sales are much different. As I said, times are changing because decision makers are changing. CIO is no more the only decision maker. Different companies in the same industry, somewhere you will find maybe the line of business head is the guy through whom you have to approach. Somewhere you will see that still CIOs are in charge and they are doing it. So that varies, and that variability, gives you that complexity of sales. So every organization is, and then the larger the organization, the larger the sales cycle. Because there are so many approvals, security clearances, then vendor clearances, vendor registration, and all of that you have to go through. So from the time you first meet the customer, normally the sale is done in the first 2 meetings, because they in principle agree that they like you and they want to buy your software and try it. Then the risk perception, you have to pilot it, 2 or 3 months pilot you do. So by the time you get your money or the check from them, it will be at least a year. 9 months to a year is a sales cycle typically there. Shortest we have done is sometime 3 months, but those typically are, you directly meet with the CEO, he likes it and buys it and rolls it out. But they might not be very large organization, there'll be a few thousand people organization. But if you get into tens of thousands of people in those kind of organizations, big corporates or conglomerates kind of stuff, then 6 months is the least you can look at closing a deal. So knowledge of this complexity of sales is very important. That's one of the reasons we recently added a CIO from a US Fortune 500 company who has now joined our board. So because we were lacking that kind of a knowledge and how to do it, so he will be bringing all that knowledge and insights to us and help us sell better to the enterprise, not just in India but also abroad. We have another senior person from sales from another company who has joined us, now our team, and he's heading sales for us in Mumbai currently. So that knowledge of selling to the enterprise is very important. So if you look at even Box, or you look at any other SaaS products also, you'll see that it's not that you just put it up on SaaS and it sells. Direct sales is required. Large enterprises, especially or medium, are not going to buy it, they'll try it. So a SaaS will reduce your time to trial. But time to purchase will still require direct sales initiative from your side, and people to go, visit them, show them the product, address their concerns of security, etc. They will do some price negotiation with you. So all of that is there. So the market is in a big flux right now. So a lot of things changing because a lot of people have tried, a lot of people have faced failures. So there's learning there, whether these products will work, not work, or how they will work. So pretty interesting times. We are finding it good because we are finding increasing acceptance of new innovative ideas, because now people are feeling that just copy pasting and doing the same thing is not going to work. We need something new, because the same legacy paradigms, by extending them, are not going to solve this problem.